In today's video, I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to communicate better within your Valorant ranked games. Communication is such an important part of Valorant, and being able to communicate effectively can be the difference between winning or losing a ranked game. But just before we get into the first tip, if you guys would not mind hitting the like button as well as the subscribe button and the notification bell, it helps me out so much. And if you want to watch me play Valorant live or ask me any questions you have, you can do so over at my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Iridium. The link is in the description as well. I'm live there every weekday in the afternoons on Eastern time, so make sure to come through and say what's up. Now let's get to the tips on how to communicate better in Valorant. This first tip helped me out so much once I started doing this within my games and communicating this to my teammates. Something that goes a long way and something that could actually save your teammate's life if you're unable to do something about this is just to go the extra mile and tell your teammates where someone could be. If there's an angle that you weren't watching for a little bit, where an enemy could have snuck up through or maybe around into your flank, if you just quickly say to your teammates, hey, Phoenix could be around an elbow or something along those lines, that can be the difference between a winning round or a losing round. Just little tiny things like that can go such a long way within your games and communicating with your teammates. It also helps you stay focused on what's going on within this specific game. This means that you're looking between your map and what's going on in front of you frequently, and you're able to read the situation as well. If you ever have that thought to yourself where someone could have snuck up behind you when you weren't watching a specific angle, make sure to just let your teammates know, or whoever's playing with you on that site know, and it could potentially save their life in the round and then eventually the game. My second tip is just to know that less is more. Most of the time in lower ranks and even in higher ranks as well, you'll hear people just communicate too much. They'll say, well, Jet was up short this one time, but she actually could have ran around behind us, but she may have went back long. This trip went off in this trip, and then you just can't focus on anything. So just please use less words. I would limit yourself to around 3 words if possible for whatever you're calming. Something as specific as Sova B or Sova in window. You may need to go over 3 words, obviously, for specific callouts, but just try to keep it as short as possible and don't go on a crazy tangent, because it'll not only distract your team, but it'll also take away from that time they could be listening for something happening. Keep your communication short and sweet and straight to the point. My next tip is just to communicate what you want to do or what you're going to do in a specific round. Playing as a team is 100% the most important thing in Valorant, and especially if you're solo queuing, letting your teammates know what you're going to do or what you think your team should do as a whole is again going to be the difference between winning and losing. Obviously, you're going to get those teammates that are a little bit toxic, stuck up. They may think they're better than everyone and they will never take any criticism, and they think no other idea is better than theirs. But most of the time, people will hear you out because they want to win as well. If you have a solid team behind you, they will hopefully play around what you're doing, and they'll support you in any way that is needed. My fourth tip is just a simple, plain old, easy thing that you should be able to do, and it's just to be a nice person. Don't sound super down or super negative when you're communicating something to a teammate. In my personal experience, the nicer you are, the better off your whole team's going to be. I personally do not want to win for someone that is being completely toxic and rude to my entire team and trying to control everyone and just blaming them for everything. Just be a nice person, build your teammates up, whether they're clutching out a round or losing a round. Again, Valorant's a team game, and you do not want to disturb that brotherhood that you do gain by being on a Valorant solo queue team with someone. It goes a long way, and people could be having rough days as well. So just always have fun as much as you can and be a nice person and respect everyone that you're playing with on your Valorant ranked teams. My fifth tip is to not talk in teammates' backswings unless it's absolutely necessary. And if you don't know what it means to talk in someone's backswing, it means when they're very focused on a specific round, say someone's in a 1v2 clutch, and you're there just saying, oh, so it was over here, don't just look here, look to the right, look to the right, look to the right, someone's behind you, there's a trip next to you. That's going to distract them if you couldn't tell. And I'm sure you've been in that situation as well, where you're just like, dude, let me play. And I think it goes a lot deeper than that as well. Whether someone is saying it or not, they have a plan in their head in whatever situation they're in within a Valorant game, whether it's just a 3-on-3, a 1v1, they have a plan for what they're going to do. As soon as you open your mouth and suggest something, whether it's the right call or not, that person's going to second guess themselves, and it'll just limit their decision making and the speed of which they do so. So unless it is absolutely necessary, just let someone play out their round. But again, there are those moments where you do need to tell them something, like if they maybe saw an enemy in the corner of their screen that they weren't focusing on because they were focused on their crosshair, but you may have seen it because you're spectating them and looking at the corner of their screen. I would 100% say something like, you saw Sky here, and just keep it at that. Leave it up to them. But when I say don't talk in someone's backswing, just don't try to control them. They're playing their character, you play yours. Don't try to control them from your keyboard. A sixth tip is a hugely frustrating one for my specific games, and it's just to be as precise as possible when you're communicating numbers. Say you're defending outside of showers on bind, and you can clearly hear that there's 2 people in showers. Please do not tell your team that they're all showers. I feel like people get into panic mode a little bit. They're excited that they're about to get kills. They hear people rushing towards them through a specific area, and they just scream out to their teammate that they're all there. Something I like to do is just analyze how many people I hear. It's really not hard if you do it enough, and just communicate. There's at least 2 here. There's at least 3 here. It'll help your teammates out immensely, especially if they're on the other site, because then they can look out for the remaining 2 people. I know there are going to be situations where there's maybe a Yoru, but if you do see a Yoru on the enemy team, you should be expecting fakes like this. But all that to say, just be as specific as you can, because it's going to help everyone out. My final tip for this video is just to not be afraid to ask for help or utility support from your teammates. Like I said earlier, your team is there to help you whether you or they like it or not. Just swallow your pride. Don't think to yourself too highly like you're 10s. You're about to go in and ace with 5 jet knives. Just don't be afraid to ask for a dart or a wall or a smoke in any specific area. This is all going back to the 3rd tip, where it's just to communicate what you want to do or what you're doing. If you have a specific plan, you're going to need your team to help you. So if you're defending on split and you want to rush through garage, don't be afraid to ask your breach to stun through the entrance of B so you can get up a little closer and maybe get a pick and back off. Valorant is 100% a team game, so communicating to your teammates what you want to do and asking for their help and support is just going to help you win more rounds, which will help you win more games. I sometimes have trouble asking people for help, even in a team game like Valorant, because I just don't want to disturb people. And even in real life, I just have a hard time asking people for help with things because I feel like I can just do them myself. And I'd rather not make someone uncomfortable or feel like they have to do something when they don't really need to. But again, in Valorant, your teammates are there to help you whether they like it or not. So asking them for help is going to benefit you more in the long run. So that's going to do it for all the tips I had for you guys on communicating better in Valorant. So just please take these into your rank games and use them, and come back to this video and let me know if they helped out. And just really quickly before I end the video, I just want to let you guys know, if you do not have a mic, 1, you should get one if possible. 2, the pinging system and alert system in Valorant is very, very helpful as well. And you can use the text chat in game if possible to tell your teammates what's going on or what you saw before you died. But anything like that you can use to your advantage, just please do so if you're not doing that already, if you do not have a mic. But if you have any other questions, my Twitch stream is in the description below, and feel free to comment in this video as well, as I'll be replying to all of you guys that I can. Be sure to check out my Patreon as well, which is in the link in the description. There I have a tier where I can help you guys out and coach one of your games live on my stream, and from there I can give you tips and anything that you're doing that you can improve on. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll see you in the next one, and on that note, ta-ta for now.